Laughing. Hey, y'all, and welcome to Shift the Narrative, where we take the shape of everything we are facing and shift it. This is your host and fellow freedom fighter, Tyria. For those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Please subscribe, hit favorite, share, and review. Let's jump right in and talk about light stealers, or what is commonly known as toxic people. Having experienced a few in my life, I have become more aware of them and work diligently to not allow them to drain my light. Light stealers are people around you that suck the light out of you, leaving you feeling drained, energy less, or depressed. Light stealers have very low energy and they look to take or recharge themselves by leeching from others. Light stealers may not even realize they are doing it because many are emotionally unstable. They put on a really good face or impression management, and we tend to fall victim to the narrative they are steering. But I'm here to encourage you today and remind you that you can shift the narrative. Light stealers are not only harming you, but themselves as well. You can stop being a victim to life stealers, reclaim your light, and avoid being drawn in. See, I became victim to my first light stealer in the early 2000s. They presented themselves as everything I thought I needed because I was deep in the middle of my wilderness. I was lost, y'all. I was living life as a free spirit and falling into ways that were not helpful to my growth. I was not the person I am today. My toxic traits linked up with a toxic person and got sucked in. They said all the right things and exhibited qualities, characteristics, and morals that were similar to mine, all the while slowly draining the little bit of light I had left. It felt like they were draining my life. But I thank God as He was pulling me out of the toxic relationship, I was able to break free and reclaim my light. Get my life back, y'all. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. How did I know they were stealing my light? Because at the close of our relationship, they admitted it. They told me that they needed my light because they were not able to create enough light or energy for themselves. That honesty that I didn't expect opened my eyes to the fact that there were actually people out there that intentionally sought high energy people, bright lights, so that they can take from them. The question can be asked, how are light stealers drawn to you, or how can you become victim to a light stealer? As a person who is full of light, genuine light, being the salt and light of the world, when you are a natural giver or naturally compassionate, you are at risk of becoming a victim. Light stealers have a way of weaving their way into our lives, many times mimicking light themselves, false light. The definition of false is appearing to be the thing denoted, deliberately made, or meant to deceive. They want to leave you with the impression that they are full of life and light. Many light stealers are well-informed individuals who know the way out of their darkness, but do not have the power or the desire to do the work themselves, siphoning our light for their own healing. Takers, light stealers. So I would like to illuminate 5 different types of light stealers so you can recognize when you are in their presence and give you some solid tips on how to stop being a victim and reclaim your energy. The first, the narcissistic light stealer. I start with this one because we have been hearing this word a lot. And I know me, at first I thought narcissistic people exhibit the same qualities across the board, but they don't. But I'll have more on this topic in a later post. I also chose to start with this one because I believe this was the light stealer I originally dealt with. This type of light stealer lacks empathy for others and has an innate need for admiration. They charm you, leaving you feeling powerless to fend off their influence, to put them first at all costs, and to massage their ego. I forgot who I was and became everything they were. Next, the victim light stealer or martyr light stealer. This type uses guilt to target you. Yes, again, light stealers target you. This type of light stealer blames others for their suffering and does not take responsibility for the things they have done. They feel they do not get enough love and acceptance from others, and because of their low self-esteem and feeling of unworthiness, they siphon your light until they feel overly compassionate, leaving you feeling guilty if you do not pay enough attention to them. Therefore, making you give them more attention than you can actually afford to give them. The melodramatic light stealer. The light stealer that creates drama because they need to fill the void they have inside. They enjoy being involved in problems and crisis. They actually live for being the victim because of the love and attention they know being the victim gets. Have you ever felt drained around melodramatic people? Your light is being siphoned when you get pulled into the drama they create. The judgmental light stealer. The bully. But when you actually take a look into their personal lives, you will see brokenness and self-worth, low self-worth. They tend to feed their ego by always pointing out other people's insecurities until that person feels less than, pathetic, and small. Really, this type of light stealer is treating you how they actually feel about themselves. Again, this type of light stealer is treating you how they actually feel about themselves, projecting. Lastly, the innocent light stealer, the one who's not aware they are stealing light from others. These are your overly dependent friends and family members who are overly needy of you. If you encounter this type of light stealer, it is important to motivate them to be self-reliant. It is important to motivate people to be self-reliant. Light stealers are drawn to you. Light, bright lights. Darkness is drawn to light. It says in John 1:5 that light shines in the darkness and the darkness does not comprehend it, which is why they steal it. Think about it. We are letting our light shine before men, right? As disciples of Christ, that's what we do. We let our light shine before men. When the light stealer sees how bright you are because you're attracting everything positive, because you're flourishing, you're healing, instead of finding the source that can actually help them, God, doing the work, finding healthy function keys, Control, Alt, Shift, and encouraging themselves, they rather just steal it. Why? Because working on ourselves is one of the hardest things to do. They can't shift their narrative. They have been doing it this way for so long that they become comfortable with doing it and they think it works. And it does for them because they will continue to seek out victims. They'll go from one person to another, to another, to another, just to keep taking that light and that energy. When I gave my life to Christ, I inherited the light of life. So even brighter light. The brightness that shines even when flickering is enough for light stealers to be drawn to it. So make sure you guard your heart, mind, and spirit. Put on that full armor of God. Be discerning. All right, so here are a few ways to recognize a light stealer, right? Here we go. They never take responsibility. They are manipulative. They never apologize. They are judgmental. They will make you defend yourself. They are inconsistent. They judge a lot. They never support you. They can't listen to you. They interrupt a lot. They will never go out of their way for you. They will never admit defeat. They always need to have eyes on them. They cannot get out of their own way, and they can be mean. Sound familiar? So how do we reclaim our light? Before we go pointing fingers at people, make sure we take a self-inventory and begin to work on our toxic traits. It wasn't until I began to do self-work that I was able to break free of the light stealer's web. When a person is causing you to feel exhausted, irritated, stressed, depressed, chaotic, that is when you need to take a step back and pay attention to self. When this happens to me, mostly is because I have not taken the time to refill my spirit man. I am doing things on my own power, running on fumes, not feeding my poor spirit man. I'm operating in flesh. And that's when I tend to fall victim to light stealers more often, because I see their need for help. And instead of giving them the tools to use themselves, I try to fix it for them. We have to realize we are not God, and we cannot fix people. We can help guide them, but they have to do the work. Do not become an enabler for light stealers. They will drain you dry. I was dry, y'all, at the end of that relationship, right before I came out. Dry. My own family didn't even really recognize me. I didn't recognize me. Make sure you choose your battles wisely. Listen, this battle is not yours, but it is the Lord's. Let him fight the battle. Arguing with a light stealer will cost you more time, energy, and light than you can afford. While it is tempting to try to make them recognize the need for change, they have to want it for themselves. Sometimes you have to listen and don't talk. So much of my energy is released on a daily basis at work from talking that I leave so exhausted. So I had to learn how to use my healthy function keys. I had to control alt shift. I had to learn to reserve my energy by talking less. I had to learn to reserve my light by not trying to fix them, but deal with them at the place where they are. I'm not much of a talker for good reason. I realize that light stealers just really want an ear to bend, so I ask open-ended questions to get them to do most of the talking. Create boundaries. Asking open-ended questions to get light stealers to talking is one boundary I use at work. Creating boundaries is super important in all areas of your life. If you do not have boundaries, how can you function in a healthy state? Light stealers seek those who have no boundaries, and they even seek those who have small boundaries, but they see that you don't stick to them. Why? Because they see that you will do anything and everything to make things happen and work for people. As always, remember your own self-worth. This is important, especially with judgmental and narcissistic light stealers, because they see that you have low self-worth and they take that and run with it. When I was in my wilderness, my self-worth was in the trash, y'all, in the trash, because I was just going and doing whatever. My free spirit was taking over, and I just allowed anything and everything to happen to me. I forgot who I was, whose I was, whom I was, a child of God. I forgot that, but I remember now. And I keep remembering because I speak positive thoughts over myself constantly when I'm in light stealers' presence and outside of light stealer presence, because they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Staying calm is my superpower. The peace only God can give allows me to not react when provoked. When provoked, here comes that function key again. Control, Alt, Shift. I breathe. I assess the situation. I remain calm. And I shift the conversation. And if that doesn't work and all else fails, leave. I say, okay, and walk away. And I let it go. Let go. There is so much power in letting go. It's easier said than done, right? Yeah, I know. Trust me. It took me 6 years to break free and 2 more to finally disconnect from them. So if anyone can understand, I can. You will hear me talk a lot about boundaries and letting go, because with consistent practice, many aspects of our lives will become easier to handle. Come on, y'all. Reclaim your light through prayer. Prayer is a conversation. Prayer is important to your relationship with God. Prayer, conversation, communication, okay? Recognizing light stealers, reclaiming your light, creating boundaries, and letting go. These are all ways, and many more ways, that you can protect yourself from falling victim to a light stealer. Be blessed, y'all. If you like what you hear and you would like to hear more, please subscribe, hit favorite, share, and review my podcast. As it grows, I will be able to produce better content for you to enjoy. So this is Shift the Narrative with Tyria. And I am thankful for each and every one of you. Be free, y'all. Be free.